Hello from Becky and me. Welcome to the start of a brand new week.
First tonight, they're a danger to motorists and cyclists, and now potholes caused by the big freeze are presenting a major financial problem.
Yes, councils across the region who are already having to tighten their belts say they're facing up to the prospect of multi-million-pound bills for road repairs.
And some local authorities say council tax may even have to rise to cover the cost. Well, our correspondent Malcolm Robertson joins us now, live from Norwich. Malcolm, another problem for our cash-strapped councils.
Yes, black holes in the road means black holes in council budgets, and that inevitably means a rise in council tax bills. Now, along this stretch of the road, hopefully you can see them, there are a number of potholes, and they reckon around the country there are 1 million of them, and they will cost more than £100 million to repair, and that clearly means a major problem for our local authorities.
For those in the motor industry, this is a particularly busy time. Much of what they're having to deal with, the result of bad weather. A lot of it stemming from the sheer number of potholes emerging all over our region. Whether you're in Cambridge or on the A421 near Milton Keynes, they're an issue. A real hazard for motorists and a dangerous obstacle course for the poor cyclist.
The recent cold snap has left Britain's roads with more than 1 million potholes, which will cost more than £100 million to repair. And now the government's coming under increasing pressure to provide emergency funding to prevent the roads crumbling any further.
It certainly caused a headache for Faye Hardy from Tavram near Norwich. She had only just replaced some of the tyres on her Renault Megane and last week damaged her rear wheel in a pothole.
I've been told there's no wheels in the UK for my car at the moment, and there aren't any available in France, so I've got to wait for a new wheel to be ordered and come over from France.
Today, David Berryman told me this was typical of the sort of damage they're seeing. A new wheel will set Faye Hardy back as much as £250.
Even minor damage is costing customers, £50 to £100, if not more.
So just some pretty angry customers.
Oh, there's a lot of them, yes. Yeah. Bad for the customer, good for us, unfortunately.
Is there anywhere in the region worse than this? Park Crescent in the village of Magdalen near King's Lynn. Local people wondering when it might be put right.
A couple of people have been out to look at it, but there's no physical repairs or anything. But the whole structure of the road is completely cracked and usually waterlogged.
Potholes cost around £30 each to repair. After last year's snow, Hertfordshire County Council spent more than £1 million filling them in. Essex County Council has a budget this year of more than £5.5 million, and Bedford Borough Council has already set aside £200,000 from its emergency budget. Meanwhile, Northamptonshire's asking central government for £5 million to fix weather-related damage to its roads. It's the volume of potholes that's causing a real worry for local authorities.
There should be no increase this year, but what will happen in the long term in terms of replacing the ones that are bad now, I think it's quite possible we will need to look for more money to put to the roads, yeah.
Solicitor Jeremy Ives specialises in personal injury law. What would he advise those who've come to grief over potholes?
If you do injure yourself or you damage your vehicle, then you must report it directly to, in most cases, the county council. But don't think that means you've got an automatic right to redress, because it doesn't. They only have to satisfy a duty of care under the Highways Act, and if they've acted reasonably to maintain the highway, then they do not have liability.
The worst of the weather may have gone, but the effects are still evident, and we may be paying the price for quite some time to come.
Well, the good news for motorists along this stretch of the road is that the potholes here should soon be filled, because since we were here this morning, you can see that obviously somebody has been here painting markings around those yellow markings, which hopefully would suggest that they're about to be repaired. Now, as we heard from Solicitor Jeremy Ives in that report, very few people actually succeed in compensation claims. But if a local authority is negligent and doesn't act on information it's given, doesn't repair the potholes, then they could find themselves taken perhaps to a small claims court in the event of some kind of damage to a car, or perhaps even to a county court in relation to any personal injury.
We shall see. Malcolm, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, they're absolutely everywhere, aren't they? It's such a hot topic, this one. So what do you think, then? Are potholes down to poorly laid and maintained roads? And who do you think should actually pay for the repairs? What have been your experiences?
Get in touch right now via the email address on your screens. There it is, Jonathan and Becky at ITV.com. We'll try to read out a few before the end of the programme. Remember, tell us who you are and where you live as well.
Right, moving on. Members of 2 Squadron RAF Regiment are preparing to fly out from our region for their latest tour in Afghanistan.
The troops based at RAF Honington in Suffolk are being deployed to protect forces within the Kandahar Air Base. It's a tough and dangerous task, but they say they're looking forward to the challenge. Victoria Webb was at Honington to see them off.
With just hours to go until they board their plane for Afghanistan, members of 2 Squadron RAF Regiment are going through passport patrol and checking their baggage doesn't exceed the weight limit. For the hardened veterans of previous tours, this is a process they're used to. But for others, it's the beginning of a new experience. A worrying time for those family members they leave behind.
They're nervous, but at the same time, they're sort of pleased for me. They know that's what I want to do, so there weren't too many tears when I left.
Troops here have been preparing for this tour since they returned from Afghanistan just over a year ago. In the early hours of tomorrow, they'll be driven to RAF Bryce Norton to board a flight to Kandahar Air Base. Their job will be to provide security for other forces. As well as learning the language, they've been taught how to deal with a growing problem of improvised explosive devices.
It's vitally important to ensure that the air operations can continue at Kandahar, and also to protect the people that actually serve at Kandahar. It's a multinational NATO airfield, so we've got an extremely responsible job for looking after those people.
Among the men queuing up today was Corporal Sharon Hornby. She'll be dealing with all the flight bookings and salary inquiries that you still get in a war zone.
They do take care of you more than they probably maybe take care of some of their lads. They're always making sure that you're all right. But other than that, you're wearing the same uniform, you get treated exactly the same, to be totally honest.
This bag here is 18 kilograms. It's one of the light ones. It's got all the essential kit in it, and they may have to do quite a bit of walking with a bag like this in their back. And if I had to do it, let's see. Oh, I don't think I'd get very far.
As well as the essentials, troops have packed a few luxury items, including laptops and MP3 players. With easy access to the internet, there'll be many anxious family members looking forward to those regular emails reaching home. Victoria Webb, Anglia News, RAF Honington.
I think those bags are about as big as her, weren't they? Next tonight, the first of 2 exclusive